Hey, there's one move in the golf swing that's literally so key, so crucial, that you can learn it, get really good at it, and literally build an entire great golf swing around it. This one simple move. Right after this, let's talk about it and how you can use it to develop a golf swing just like the guys on TV. Stay tuned. Hey, this is Steve with HitItLonger.com. If you get enough value out of this video, I hope you'll hit like and subscribe. Okay, so what is this amazing secret move that the pros all do? Well, it's really, really simple. Right wrist, bending back into what we'd call extension, and then snapping through into what we'd call flexion, just like that. Now, if you go a little farther, you can add the elbow to it as well. As you pin the wrist back, bend your elbow. As you snap the wrist through, straighten your elbow. So this little move right here, make it free. Look at my wrist, flopping back and forth. Do it with me. Cock the wrist, bend the elbow, snap the wrist, snap the elbow straight. Just like that. Just like you're slamming a door or slapping somebody who's about this tall. Just like that. Now that move right there, there's so much magic in that move that you can build a great golf swing around it. Let's just take a look at what that move does all by itself on the club. Now watch as I do that move. Gets me back really good. Now, the key here is I have not opened or closed the arm bones. I've not rotated the arm bones. I've simply cocked the wrist. Now watch what happens when I just cock the wrist off the ball. Really brings that club as high as here. Once I start getting the elbow involved a little bit, I can get that thing to first parallel. And you notice that the club face looks like this. Doesn't look like this. That would require that I'd have to roll the arm bone as well. But if I just cock the wrist, the club's going to look a little bit like this. From your perspective, that club face is pointing at about 1 o'clock, 11 o'clock from my perspective. That's what it means to have the club face. That's what it looks like when you've got the club face going back square to the arc, not open or closed to the arc. And that really makes it simple to get the club going back square to the arc every time. Just whoop. Just cock the wrist into extension like this. Now if you start adding some elbow flexing, you start to get the club up onto the plane, halfway back, just like this. So far, so good. Now, when you can combine this with the snap this way, remember that wrist almost is like it's sitting on your counter, just snapping back flat like this. And you can do that with the snapping straight of the elbow. Again, from the shoulder down, I'm to steal a phrase from Count Yogi, muscleless and boneless. Snap the elbow, snap the wrist. Here we go. Cock the elbow, extend the wrist. And now I'm going into this position. And again, got the club face square to the arc. And my arc is good too. So square to the arc with a nice true inside to square back to the inside arc. Now from here you can build on this. Wrist, elbow, elbow, wrist. It happens in that order. Wrist first, elbow, elbow straightens, wrist snaps. Everything very free. All right, if you can do this, and you can do this action down here, down by almost by your shoe tops. This is the feeling. You can go elbow, wrist, muscleless and boneless, just like that. You've got a really good golf swing motion. Of course, you're screaming at the screen, Steve, that's just a rock skip. That's right. A rock skip is this base motion that I showed to you earlier, plus a little bit of body position. If you do it way down low and release it, do this action down by your knees, it ensures that you're going to keep your hip depth maintained quite nicely. It's going to ensure that you turn out of the way of your arms so that you can skip the rock along the water. Now, with a club, it's a little different. Since a club, a ball just means your arm is the implement, but now we have this extra implement. So we just have to subtly change the direction, the vector we're going to do this throw of the ball in. Remember, same base, wrist, wrist. None of this, none of this. Not necessary if you do everything else just like I'm showing you. Wrist, bend the elbow to 90 degrees. Straighten the elbow, snap the wrist. Don't turn the arm bones over. Do it from down here. And with a ball, now I want you to turn and I want you to throw it into left center field. That's the feeling of a pro golf swing right there. It is a rock skip, snapping, around between second base and third base. If you're American, if you are European and you don't play baseball, turn and just throw it left to the center line. This is different when you have an implement in your hand because this will help you. Here's that move again. Whoop, there. Now, here comes my rock skip around to the left, and we got a perfect golf swing. Then you can put the left hand on it, say move, and we've got a good golf swing going right there. You can literally build a mansion from this foundation of just wrist and elbow. This action demands this body position, demands this vector of throw in order to all make it work out. So again, it's here, elbow, wrist, down by the knees, and fling it. Snap the elbow, snap the wrist, muscleless and boneless between second and third base. All right, let's check it out from the down the line angle. Again, wrist operates this way. Elbow bends, elbow straightens. Now, of course, that move would not hit the ball unless you add some forward bend. You feel like you're operating this wrist and elbow move down real low, down by your knees, and around to the left. So here's a right hand attempt. Okay, cock the wrist back, flex the elbow. Now, I'm going to throw this thing, I'm going to snap this thing around to left, staying low, keeping the release point down by my knees. And we've done a few of those to get the feel. Put the left hand on. Let's just go slow and easy here. And I think that was literally a perfect golf shot. Super contact, really, really good rock skip snapping action. Now, for those of you at home, if you haven't clicked off the video, but you're asking, this question is just aching. You're screaming it, some of you at the TV or the monitor. But this is a flip. This is flippy, right? If I do this, I'll be scoopy, right? No, because of the way you are moving the pivot and the rotation of the body early out in front of that wrist snap and elbow snap. You would want, this mat is 60 inches wide. So this edge of the mat is 30 inches from the center. Look at this now. I want to arrive, when I finish the snapping of my elbow and the snapping of my wrist into flexion, I want to be at this edge of the mat. Of course, if I'm here and I'm snapping the elbow and I'm scoopy. But see, here I have not moved my body. Instead, see this? Wham, right there. Right there, and my hand points right to this edge of the mat. 30 inches past the ball is when we're timing this snap. Got to put enough pivot and turn out in front of that wrist and elbow in order to make it all time out. Of course there's timing in a golf swing, of course. There's timing in anything that's swinging or striking. Look at baseball pitchers, they'll tell you. A lot of timing. Timing of the snap, timing of the release point, they would call it. So, again, we are feeling the release point down here, but we're feeling like we're snapping it around into left of second base towards the shortstop, like this. Boy, I sure hope my microphone picked up that sound. That thing felt so good. So this is all I'm doing. I'm basing the entire golf swing on this move right here. Hogan describes it as well in his book 5 Lessons. There's a sketch of him doing this exact same motion. The trick is now to fit the body in position to make it work, to have the correct vectors, the correct path of the club head and the hands. And you can literally build a scratch or better golf swing out of that one move. So hey, I hope this idea spurs some practice and inspiration for you, helps you get better, helps you strike it longer, straighter. I hope that happens. Come back, leave a comment down below, or if you have any questions about this, definitely leave it down in the comments. As usual, I'm Steve. Thanks for watching. If I don't see you in the next video, I hope I see you longer and straighter down the fairway. Everybody take care.